Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Turin here with another Total War Warhammer Live Battlecast. In this particular game, I'm going to be playing the Vampire accounts against the Warriors of Chaos. So the reason I'm actually starting in the deployment is because when the game was loading, it took quite some time. Actually several minutes of just kind of waiting for my opponent to load in. So I figured I would just spare you guys that waiting and just get right to the business. So I am playing against the Warriors of Chaos, like I mentioned before. So again, a lot of people using the SHAGGOTH builds. So as you can see, I have Skeleton Spears on the flank. I also do have the Red Duke with Elsif. It's quite good against Kolek and slowing him down and really allowing your Blood Knights and other high-powered units to isolate him. So I really like the Red Duke here. Also, you guys will probably note I did put him on his mount on the ground because, again, on that same coin, having the... and actually, let's go ahead and put this White King with the main army just for encouragement purposes. Having him in the air is pretty risky with Manticores, and, the Chaos Sword on the Chaos Dragon is just an absolute beast. So you got to be very, very careful of that. So we also do have the Dire Pact. They do have an anti-large bonus, which isn't bad. Let's actually take a look and see what that exact bonus is. So we'll mouse over the stats here. And a bonus for its large of 14, which really is pretty good probably against the SHAGGOTHs. I actually haven't tried it much, so I'm not sure. It's definitely a little bit of an experimental game, so we'll see how it goes. But my opponent has a very, very small army, 393 troops, so it's definitely... Well, it makes me a little nervous, but I would guess he probably has some Dragon Ogres and things like that. But I do have Spears, I have Blood Knights. Hopefully we'll have enough. I also did get the Mortis Engine here, which will, the Claw of Nagash, which does have a slowing aura. So hopefully that'll be good for kind of isolating units. And he does have the Flaming Sword of Ruin, so pretty strong stuff. And also the Mortis Engine, or Claw of Nagash, is vulnerable to fire. So if my opponent's able to do some good work in that respect, we could be in some trouble, guys. So let's go ahead and just kind of park around here and just try and find his army. I mean, he's obviously probably hiding somewhere over here, I'm not sure, but something else that a lot of Chaos players... Oh, excuse me, guys. Long day, long day. I just woke up from a huge nap, so I'm still kind of waking up. But does he have Chosen over there? Oh, okay, so just Chaos Warriors, it looks like. Probably gonna, yeah, he has Kolek, he has a Giant, which, okay, so I have some anti-large units, and also the Dire Pack here with the anti-large, which I think is gonna be quite nice. He might come in and try and get a Fireball. I would use an Invocation from Nehek, because again, most of my resources are gonna be going to Raise Dead, and did they change the cost of that in like a hotfix or something? No, okay, no, it's a 7-second cooldown, 2 on the Winds of Magic. I thought it actually got raised to 7 Winds of Magic, which I actually wouldn't even complain about. I think that would be reasonable. So we could go skirmish a little bit. I'm okay with that. So we'll kind of go check the forest here. And something I've seen a lot of Chaos players do is actually get the what's it called, the Master Marauder Horseman, get like a whole firing line, and as you advance with your Mortis Engine, which I think is really good in the Chaos matchup, at kind of tearing down and slowing all those like heavy infantry, they'll just spear it down, and it's pretty effective actually. So and then they use Manticores and things like that to deal with your skirmishers that go after them. So pretty cool stuff. We'll see how my opponent does here. He does have this guy, and look, its leadership actually tanked to 46 because there's faster and stronger enemies nearby. That's pretty interesting. Pretty substantial leadership hit there. So he's just circling. I'm not sure why he deployed all the way over here, because if he, the one thing is, so you're fighting the Vampire accounts, right? And it looks like he's going to cast something here. So let's see if we can Serpentine out of the way here. And we do take a hit on the Mortis Engine, which is a bit unfortunate, but we'll just keep advancing here. Just keep doing our thing. It's not too bad. We'll go ahead and use an Invocation from Nehek, because losing the Claw of Nagash is going to be a really, really big problem if I lose it before the fighting starts. It's a big investment, 1,1600 resources. You can see my opponent did use the Arcane Conduit there, so pretty well played, but not a huge hit on our Winds of Magic. We still have good regeneration. Everything's going pretty well. He does have SHAGGOTH. It looks like he does have some Aspiring Champs in there. I think if we can, mitigate that, and keep our Mortis Engine alive and protect it, and really, focus on Kolek with all these anti-large units, I think we're going to be in really, really good shape here. So, just my opponent continuing to fly over and harass and do his thing, and we're just gonna go ham, boys. We're just gonna do our thing. So, he's gonna cast another fireball here in a second. So we're gonna kind of side strafe. Hopefully we can Serpentine it. Oh, no, we took a little bit of a hit, but nothing too bad. So we might actually just use another Invocation to Heck on it, which should be fine. It'll be up in a few seconds, and that should be able to kind of keep it healthy before the fighting starts. So we're going to use our Cav defensively. I don't think we're going to try and circle around, because then he'll just run Kolek up the middle, and it'll be, I'll have to run back around, and it'll be a pretty obnoxious procedure there. So his Winds of Magic, he's using it pretty liberally here, but that's fine. I would probably be doing the same thing if I were him, just using the, the Fireball to try and ping this down, because again, Mortis Engine, he might even just chase after it with Kolek and his Giant. So I have to be really, really on top of protecting it, because my infantry corps will win this, I'm pretty sure. With the Mortis Engine and those other kind of variables going on. So hopefully you guys don't mind this. He did deploy pretty far away. So fortunately, I had to kind of do the long march, and he did that simply so he could get this Chaos Sorcerer and get as much harass as he possibly could before the fighting started. So he is pulling some Chaos Warriors. He does have some Halberds, but again, I'm just going to kind of sit back here and just use my Blood Knights to protect and just, drag out this atrocious, style of game. So we're going to engage our troops here, get these guys here, get these guys here. We'll pull up the Mortis Engine, and we're going to get our Cryptors kind of on the front liners here. We can actually probably put them on Kolek, although I think it's probably a pretty safe bet here to go after those guys. So we're going to pull the Spears here, pull them here, get ready in the front line, and he is going in with Papa Kolek, so we're going to pull this Mortis Engine back, get our Blood Knights engaged here. Also, let's go ahead and use some armor piercing here and summon some zombies right here. Are those are actually chosen, it looks like? Okay, that's pretty cool. So we do get the dire pack on those guys, which is quite nice. We're also going to use Von Hells on these Blood Knights here, get them engaged on Kolek, which is going to be really, really strong. And then let's also get the Skeleton Spears over here to deal with the Giant. So I'm just going to continue to summon zombies wherever I can. Just be very, very liberal with it. It's a very, very strong ability. And we're also going to use Elsif on Kolek here, which is going to be really strong. So you can see he's snared. He's taking all that beating from all my mobile units, which is quite nice. And let's get these Skeleton Spears onto these guys. And we're doing a great job just punishing him right now. So all this damage he's taking, definitely going to add up. Definitely going to be a very, very good kind of boon for us here. So we're going to move the Claw of Nagash in here, get it a little bit higher and tighter. Just continue to chase Kolek because he's taking so much damage from those anti-larges, but a nice little kind of burst of damage there from my opponents. We're going to use an Invocation of Nehek. Just kind of keep this Mortis Engine parked and near. We do have the Cryptors on these great targets here, so we're actually going to pull them back here and go after this guy here. We're going to pull the Mortis Engine back through our ranks, and let's go ahead and switch on to this guy here. So Kolek's going a little bit far, so we don't want to overextend and like lose the Red Duke to any shenanigans. So we're going to pull in. We have him poisoned, which is quite nice, and you can see the Blood Knights in the Dire Pack just going after him very aggressively. And he was initially slowed by the Claw of Nagash, which was really, really good. So we're also going to summon a group of zombies like right in front of him, which is going to make it even harder to get away. So we're going to do that. You're going to see they're going to pop up right there. We're also going to use Von Hells here to make sure that we kill him and just keep this Mortis Engine kind of doing its thing. So we want to make sure to avoid this Giant as well. So let's go ahead and send these zombies in over here. We should be good. Yeah, and again, we want to kill the Sorcerer because the Lord of Fire is pretty good against a lot of the units we have. So just burning him down, making sure that he's dead is very, very important, or at least shattered. So in the front line, you know, I can just keep summoning fodder units. I think we're going to have pretty good success with that. So let's go ahead and summon another group of zombies right here. Let's pull this White King back. We don't want him like taking the beating from the Giant, and I believe we do kill his Wizard. So that's a pretty good situation here in the front line. So we're going to do this, and we're going to pull our Dire Pack up and around and just kind of loop around and see if we can get some good value here. So on that same coin, we're going to pull our Cryptors over here. We're probably going to get them on the Giant, and then we can re-engage this guy on the Giant as well. So that's going to be quite nice. So the Mortis Engine, we got to make sure to kind of just continue to do laps, and you can see Big Papa Kolek overextends a little bit there. So that's definitely not good, but he does pull back pretty prudently here. We can charge into these guys and get a little bit of a nice charge, do some good shock damage, but we don't want to engage with those halberds. So we're just going to continue to kind of park back here and play defensively, because I think in the attrition battle, we're just straight up winning, because this Mortis Engine is just draining all of these units. My Cryptors are taking barely any damage, which is just outstanding. So far so good, guys. Let's go ahead and loop around here and see if we can get around my opponent and just start crushing his flank, because I think even with the halberds over here, you can see he doesn't have them here. He has them on the other side, so he's pretty well secured. But over here, I think he's in a little bit of a trouble. So we're going to go over here, just collapse over here with these guys, bring these guys around the side. Let's keep this Mortis Engine right here, and we should have enough for an overcasted Invocation of Nehek here in a moment. Let's go ahead and use that on our big blob, which is going to be pretty good. And it looks like he is pulling some of his halberds and other units to deal with me here. And this is one of the things about using it defensively, but I think we have such an advantage with that Mortis Engine going on here that we should be fine. So we'll get the Skeleton Spears over here to kind of lock those guys down. You can see a lot of his halberds are just stuck on my fodder units, which is great. So we're going to charge into the back line, just punish some of these trolls right now. And some of the halberds do get in there, but we also engage on trolls, which is quite good, and just keep this Mortis Engine going. You can see my opponent's going to try and go for it, which is fine. We're doing a pretty good job collapsing the flank, and a lot of his units are going to start wavering just from that rear charge over there, and that's pretty much it. So well played to my opponent. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. The Blood Knights did really good, and you saw in that initial engagement when he came in with Kolek, we were able to use Elsif. He was slowed by the Claw of Nagash, and we were able to just pound him, which is great. And then, of course, he realized that the threat of the Mortis Engine was pretty substantial. And then he pulled in that Chaos Sorcerer with the Lure of Fire and was able to get a pretty decent, rear charge there. Did a little bit of shock damage, but still, we were able to turn around, use the Poison with the Crypt Horrors, and then again, use the Slow of the Claw of Nagash to really just trap him and punish him. Because if he had the Lure of Fire over the course of the whole game and had been able to use it on his infantry, it could have been a pretty different battle. You see I was taking quite a bit of damage on those Graveguard. So just imagine if he had been able to keep the Lure of Fire going that whole battle. So as far as the performance goes, not a lot of kills, but the Mortis Engine on the Cryptors, yeah, 3 and 4 respectively. Some decent kills in my frontline infantry, but the perpetual drain in conjunction with the focus of the Blood Knights and I was going to call him Elsif, but the Red Duke was really good. So well played to my opponent Ellie. I look forward to seeing you again on ladder, and I hope you guys enjoyed that live Battlecast. Have an excellent night and take care.